Hi, Chris.
Okay, I'm going to switch I'm going to start now. Good morning, Sally. How are you doing this morning? Good morning, Sally. How are you doing this morning?
Good morning, Chris. I'm very well. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. I'm fine, thank you. So, now we're streaming live. So, for the benefit of everyone who is now just tuning in, let me just explain a little bit about what this project is all about. Our focus is on rescuing dogs. So many of them that are abandoned or at risk, and of course, the plan is to rehome them in places like the UK and Germany, where they can finally have the loving families they deserve. So the full cost of rescuing and transporting and caring for each of these dogs can be anything around up to sort of €1,500. So it's pretty expensive. So once you factor in the medical costs, the vaccinations, the travel, shelter costs, and so on. So what we're trying to do here is to raise around $200 per dog to try and cover a share of that journey. So each single journey will, let's say, journey will help to get these dogs a better life, and of course every donation will help move them closer to safety, and together between all of you guys out there watching, we can turn these small steps into real second chances for these poor dogs. So if you're watching now on YouTube, please hit the like button and subscribe so more people can see this and join our mission. If you're on Twitch or X, make sure you follow us, as we're counting on all of you. And finally, for the biggest impact, go to pump.fund and buy the rescue token, as every one of these tokens helps us provide shelter, food, and medical care to dogs in need. So, Sally, I'm now
Good
going
morning,
to
Chris.
sort of hand over to you and let you explain what your mission is in this. Just briefly, Sally is running a wonderful Romanian dog shelter setup, and we have one dog whose story we're going to start with and follow his entire journey. And I think very shortly you're going to see this dog. His name is Sandu. And now, Sally, please tell us, all of our viewers, a little bit about this.
About Sandu specifically, or the shelter, Chris?
Everything. We want to know everything.
So, I first became involved with the shelter.
Hello.
Good morning,
good morning, Gabby.
Oh, Sandu's got his
Good morning.
coat on.
Good morning, Gabby. We have Sandu with
Yeah,
his
it's
coat.
raining.
It's raining. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Well, no, that's okay. Don't worry. Let me see if I can make you a little bit bigger. Gabby, can you just put your microphone on mute for a minute so Sally can explain the whole story of Sandu and the shelters? Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. So, this little dog is called Sandu, and Sandu is approximately 5 years old. He's a lovely, friendly boy, and originally we took him from. Oh, he's busy. We took him from the public kill shelter in Moren, which is the town where our shelter is. And this was something like, we must have taken him about 4 years ago. It was after we built our new shelter. And he was quite a young dog then, and he we take a variety of dogs from the kill shelter. We take as many as we possibly can, obviously. But we try and take dogs that have got a chance of a good home, or dogs that are very sick and wouldn't have any quality of life in the kill shelter. And then the dogs in the middle, we take as soon as we have spaces. And we expected to have adopted Sandu before now. But he isn't small and he isn't fluffy and he isn't the prettiest. And when people are adopting a dog online, it's very difficult to see their personality. Even though we engage with, our adopters a lot, you can never get that full feeling of how the dog is. Anyway, about 3 weeks ago, maybe 4, out of the blue, we got an inquiry for Sandu from our website, from a lovely lady called Kitty, who we'll be meeting later on in this process, who has rescued many, many dogs over the years from all sorts of countries. But her last rescue dog died recently, and she wanted to help another rescue dog. So we looked at lots of dogs, and thankfully she chose Sandu, which is amazing because he is a very lovely dog. So what we do before our dogs can move, even though we keep them regularly vaccinated, is they have to go for tests for brucellosis, Giardia, parasitic diseases. And also, because of where our shelter's located in a forested, wet area, we have a problem with mosquitoes, and mosquitoes carry with them the risk of heartworm for dogs. In Europe, Eastern Europe especially, and in California. So when we tested Sandu for heartworm, it was positive. And that leaves us with a real dilemma, because he's a very fit dog and, would home lovely. He loves to be cuddled, he likes to walk, he's good with other dogs, very social towards humans. So we were left with 2 decisions when we found Sandu was positive. First of all, I had a long chat with Kitty, who wants to adopt him, to see if Sandu was treated, if she would still want to adopt him.
Right.
And she did. And we have 2 ways that we can treat heartworm. One is a slow kill method, where the dog is on Invermectin for a long period of time, and eventually the Invermectin stops new heartworm forming, but it doesn't kill the heartworm that are already in situ, and they can live for up to 7 years, unfortunately. So for an older dog who's maybe 9, 10, 11, we would bring them over using the slow kill method, and they'd go to a home where they weren't going to have very much exercise, maybe an older couple who would be happy with a sedentary dog. But that isn't Sandu. He loves to play. He loves to get out, for a walk. That having that kind of restriction when he got to a home would be unfair. The problem with the American protocol that we're using for Sandu is that the dog can feel pretty grotty while they're having the treatment, but it kills the worms. And it's like a combination therapy. So basically, the worms live in the circulatory system. Oh, bless him.
There he is,
mainly in the heart, but the lungs or anywhere, but mainly in the valves and the vessels around the heart. So obviously that can become life limiting.
Yes, indeed.
But dogs can live to a big age with heartworm, but they have a dreadful cough and poor circulation, and they get heart failure. It's not a great outlook. And what the American protocol does, you treat a dog medically, first of all. So you give them steroids, doxycycline, and a blood thinner. And what that does, the doxycycline mops up the bacteria that is caused by the dying heartworms. The steroids act as an anti-rejection.
Oh, we lost your sound. I think we've lost Sally's sound there for a minute. Sally, we seem to have lost your sound for a minute. Don't quite know why. Can you check you haven't gone on to mute, Sally? No, I don't know why, but we seem to have lost Sally's sound. Well, hopefully that will come back in a minute. So while we're trying to get Sally's audio back working again, just very briefly, Sally is basically running this wonderful rescue centre out there in Romania, and this is one of the very, very lucky rescue dogs, Sandu, who we're going to follow his entire journey all the way from where he is now in Romania, who was rescued from a kill shelter, terrible places.
Sorry, Chris, I can hear you now.
No, you've come back. So yeah, we lost you for a minute. I was just telling everyone a little bit about you and about the rescue centre, which we'll get into in a minute. But sorry, yeah, jump back in, continue the story of Sandu, please.
Yes, so we were talking about the medical treatment that Sandu
and how much does all that cost, the medical treatment?
Well, it's much more expensive than using ivermectin, which is the drug that we would use for the long kill method. Right. It's a per kilogram cost because the dose depends on the size of the dog.
Yes, of course. And probably
so for Sandu, it's going to be about £400 to treat him. So he's now had his first injection.
All right.
And he's on his rest period now. In 2 weeks' time, he will start the medication again. And at the end of that 2 weeks, he'll have an injection on day 29 and an injection on day 30. And then after that, he has to have really strict rest. So he'll be in a crate. He'll be allowed to get out, for toileting and a leg stretch. But he really will be strictly controlled in his movement, because at that time, the heartworm are going to be dying. And they are going to obviously be a risk of causing an embolus. So that's the critical time really in this treatment. Touch wood. I think we've treated about 30 dogs now with this method, and all have been successful and come home to the UK. So he's a very lucky boy to get this opportunity.
Well, that's marvellous also, as you say there, Sally, that you have the experience of this. So yes, so I think Sandu has a very good chance there.
Well, we're very lucky. We have two vets in Maren. We have Melina, who is the shelter vet. She deals with all our emergencies. She deals with the vaccinations, the chipping, the passports. And then we have Andra. Andra worked in the UK for a while, but she worked with a cardiac vet in Bucharest. Pardon me. So she has the facilities to do the heartworm treatment. And then when Radu comes home after his period of rest, which we're planning to be before Christmas, he will come home with a 6 months maintenance dose of medication, which is really bibs and braces, just in case the dying heartworm laid any eggs. He has the treatment that kills the larva should an egg have been left behind, but that's a theoretical risk. So he'll have that treatment. It's a pipette or a tablet once a month for 6 months. And then he'll go to a vet in the UK to have a snap test to check that the heartworm's clear.
Right. So
we've never had a dog that hasn't been clear.
Oh, well, that's marvellous, because it's the way you've described it. It sounds like a horrible disease, and these.
Yes, it's not the best.
Have to endure. But it's amazing that you have such a helpful, wonderful wonderful vet out there that you have a great relationship with. We'll also, for all of you viewers, we will also be visiting Milena as well, who looks after Sandu and a lot of Sally's other dogs out there. But for the moment, we're just going to focus on this one lucky guy, Sandu, who is
I'm sorry he's got his coat on because
that's all
it's
right.
difficult to see how lovely he is.
Yes. No, that's fine. That's fine. At least we can see him because we want to follow his entire journey with you. You see, Sally.
Yes, I think that's really important.
So we can show everybody out there what a wonderful job you're all doing, and how we can try to help and to raise funds to help pay for this.
Yes, you were talking before, Chris, about how much it cost to keep a dog, really, or get a dog for preparation. Well,
right.
We're non-profit making, you know that, and we charge £490 to bring a dog to the UK, delivered to the owner's door, fully vaccinated, chipped, passport, everything. But of course, it costs us much more than that because we've had Sandu for 4.5 years. So that's 4.5 years of staff, 4.5 years of food, 4.5 years of vaccines, worm treatment, everything. So for some dogs, although the quality of life in shelter is much better than being a street dog, it doesn't come without a cost. And Julie and I are always struggling to raise money.
Absolutely. Well, that's what we're here to do, Sally, and that's why all of you people out there who are watching right now, we need your help. So if you're watching on YouTube, please hit the like button, subscribe. If you're on X or you're on X and Twitter and Twitch, just follow us, please, and go to pump.fun, buy our rescue token, because every token helps us to provide shelter, food, and medical care for dogs just like Sandu and for all of Sally's other dogs, which you're all going to see again very soon.
And very noisily.
Absolutely, yes.
I think when you film from shelter, everybody hears the noise, but we don't hear the noise anymore.
Yeah, well, you're used to it, you see. So
you're used to. I mean, I'll be going out to shelter in about less than 3 weeks now, and it's Julie and I love it. We love being at shelter. We feel we can support the staff in what they do. We spend loads of time with the dogs who need extra support, socializing the puppies, walking, cleaning. All sorts of things. And the shelter bears no resemblance to when we first got involved. Our dogs were originally all at the side of what is now the kill shelter. And the mayor gave us 3 weeks in the middle of winter to move our dogs somewhere. Wow. So he rented us a piece of land where we are now. And we had 3 weeks to put up some makeshift fences. So we had a whole winter of heavy snow and ice with our poor dogs with no cover other than a wooden crate to go in at night. It was awful. But over those years, first of all, we built a wall, and then we built better pens, and then we roofed the whole project. We bought more land 2 years ago, specifically for dogs who aren't adoptable, to give them a better quality of life at shelter, and dogs who are sick and old, and they have access to a play area all of the time in the day, and then at night they're put back in their pens, which are big, and in every pen there are 1 or 2 wooden traditional kennels, which they can go in. The weather changes very quickly now in Romania. So 3 weeks ago, it was so hot. It was about 34 degrees. And we've had our first frost now. And now we've had the first frost, it will get really, really cold really quickly. And it's not uncommon to have heavy snow in October. and certainly in November and December. And then we have to start buying straw, which we have to order in advance because it's in quite short supply. So last week we saw Sandu in the sun having a lovely time, and today he's got his coat on because it's cold and and raining. We really have to deal with massive variations in weather.
Yes, I can imagine. So that must be made difficult. You also would need some money there, I think, for the bedding for these dogs. How do you keep them warm?
Yes. I mean, we do have a bit of a deal with a local farmer who we buy straw from every year.
Right.
But we get through maybe, I don't know, 10 bales of straw every 3 or 4 days. And on average, a bale of straw costs about, what will it be in pounds? About £7 for a bale of straw. So in addition to all our other costs in the winter, we have another £70, easily more probably for straw.
Yeah,
so
sure.
it's never ending.
It all adds up.
But then again, in the summer, we have to use loads of extra water. And because we now have mains water, that's really expensive too. So although they don't offset each other, there's always lots of, expensive things that we have to deal with. Sorry, I'm just getting a message from a lady whose dog arrived in the UK on Friday, sending me the most amazing video and picture.
Oh, well, that's great. Maybe we can show that at some other time. But that's going to be what we want to see with Sandu, you see, Sally, when we get to the end of the journey.
I think he'll really settle well because he loves to be out on his, his lead, and he's not going to be feeling at the best at the moment because he looks really old on there, but he isn't. He's always been that colour. He's always had quite a grey. Even his other black patches have got quite a lot of white hair in them. It's just the colouring that he is. But he's such a social dog, and there's nothing he likes more than to have lots of love and attention. All the dogs do, but
of course,
we've got a lot of dogs, and to be able to be with them all of the time is a challenge. And
absolutely.
We've tried having local volunteers, and we've tried approaching the local school, but there's such a bad ethos generally about street dogs in Romania that it's very difficult to get any local help. I mean, it's not uncommon for us to get a dog in that somebody's tried to kill with a hammer, or they've had them on a chain and the chain is embedded right into their neck. And these are everyday things that we have to deal with. And, some people purposely aim their car to knock a dog down.
That's just terrible. I mean, a lot of people.
I know, and although they have introduced new laws recently, it's not really changed things as yet. We get loads of dogs dumped in boxes, thrown over our wall, and it's a high wall. It's just tragic. And we have the municipal tip not far from us. And sometimes when the girls are out, or Gabby and Alex are out, you'll see a box moving on the rubbish dump, or you'll hear a noise, and it'll be a box of puppies that somebody's just sealed the box and thrown them. It's awful. I mean, lots of Romanians are great with dogs and they love them, but I would say that those people aren't in the majority.
Yeah, that's
the treatment of dogs is awful. They don't even, in the kill shelters, euthanize. Well, you couldn't call it euthanization. It's murder, really. There are some kill shelters I know of where they physically kill the dogs by blows to the head. And when they do give a dog an injection to kill them, it's more often than not potassium, which causes them to have a cardiac arrest. And then they die the most dreadful death.
That's terrible to
It's
hear
just
all of that, Sally.
awful.
Yeah.
And we really, as far as I know, there's been no killings in the shelter in Maren for a long time. But because of that, we're punished by people coming from other cities and towns round about and dumping their dogs in our town. So you just about get on top of everything, and then another somebody comes at night and dumps another loads of dogs. And like
Yes.
Lady Daniela, the shelter founder, for example, she knows all of the street dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So it's really easy to see when new dogs have been dumped. And that is illegal now in Romania.
Okay.
And we have cameras up to see who dumps dogs with us. But lots of them are, they're just dogs from another town who think that they can just leave their dogs with us.
That's so tragic, and of course you've got to try to help these dogs because every
I know,
dog
and the thing
deserves a
is,
second chance.
we can only help so many dogs,
Yeah.
which is really sad. And Happy Paws, the shelter next door, are in the same position. They rescue cats too, because their life isn't much better than dogs, really. But dogs. He doesn't want to go back in.
He's had a good walk now, as Sandu, hasn't
Yeah,
he?
he has. So
But
now he's deciding that he's going to, stay outside and not go back in the shelter because he's enjoying being out. There's so many interesting smells outside shelter. So he'll have to be picked up and carried in a minute, I think, because
Yes.
he isn't for moving forward.
But so you're going to be, just for the benefit of the viewers, you're in the UK at the moment, Sally, but you will be going out to
Yes,
the shelter in Romania
Julie
very
and I
soon.
try to go as often as we can to shelter. Sometimes other members of our group join us, especially Claire and Sue, but who will also help us with fundraising very much. But Julie and I try and go more often, and do everything that we can, really. And that's anything and everything. I've dug the drains out before today and been covered in effluents and all sorts, but they're things that we have to do to keep the shelter running. And we always try and take some money with us too, so that we can buy extra things that are needed. And we have to buy a bulk load of fuel now for our indoor brick heater, because if we've got dogs who are in quarantine or young puppies, we have to keep inside warm. So we have a special, like an old inglenook that you would see in this country, that you feed with these special briquettes. So we're just buying those at the moment. In the winter, we need a new floor in our quarantine room. That's quite an important purchase for us at the moment. We might have sick dogs inside.
And how much do you think that will cost, Sally? We need to try to raise some money for that.
Oh, I think we spend about, over the winter, we probably spend something like £600 on briquettes. Electricity is so expensive that we don't like to leave electric on overnight anyway. And this is a heat that's nice and it's quite low. It just keeps the inner buildings at the right temperature, and it's pleasant for the dogs, and it's nice for the staff, because when Julie and I went to shelter the first time, there was no toilet, there was no running water, there was no electricity. All the girls had was an outdoor table with a parasol year round. And if they wanted to go to the loo, we had to go and use the loo in the shelter next door, who were ahead of us in terms of where they were. But now we obviously have a staff room and a room for the food and a room with a washing machine in, because we have loads of washing of coats and blankets and things, and a quarantine room. And it means that when Sandu's ready to go, we'll start to bring him indoors, so he'll get the chance to hear a washing machine working and see people sitting at a table and things like that, which maybe seems stupid. But if a dog's never witnessed that and you're taking them into somebody's home, they're just things that they can be terrified of. So we do try and introduce them to as many home things as we can. And Julie and I will probably walk Sandu down to the oh no, we won't. Yes, we will. He'll have finished his treatment, then we'll be able, and his quarantine, we'll be able to walk him down to the supermarket, so he can witness cars going by and lots of people. You know, we try and do anything really, because if we do bring a dog over who, for one reason and another, doesn't settle, it's such hard work then to get that dog to be settled in the UK.
I can imagine.
So we try and do as much as we can beforehand.
It's so wonderful that you do all that to try and acclimatise these dogs, like, as you say, with Sandu, just to get him used to what it would be like to live what the likes of you and I would consider a normal life for a dog.
Oh, that's right. I mean, what I would say is, it doesn't work every time. We have a lovely dog called Ronnie, who we bought to the UK last year. Ronnie had been in shelter. He was born in the old kill shelter when it was ours. And he's an amazing dog, friendly, loving. And we bought him to the UK, and he went into to a house and he was lovely, but then he would nip. And we couldn't understand why. And he just didn't want that constriction of being in a family. Anyway, we've got some great fosterers, and we tried him with several different ones. Everybody loved him, but he always would turn round out of no reason and nip. So we brought him back to shelter, and his face when he got back to shelter, he was so happy. You know, he was just happy to be back. So I think we have to acknowledge that it isn't right for every dog, especially those who have been in shelter for a long, long time. And then we'll bring other dogs over, like Delphine, who's travelled this weekend. And honestly, that dog is so happy you wouldn't believe it. Yes, she's already toileting outside. You know, she's great. And we can only do so much, Chris. And if we had more money, we could do loads more, because we could have a member of staff who worked purely doing the sort of thing that Gabby and are doing this morning. So, you know,
well, that's what we're going to try.
We actually took Alex on to take that role, but shelters just got so busy, and we realised there were other things he could do that would improve the quality of life. But to have somebody who could just spend time like this with the dogs would be amazing. And I know there's lots of big shelters who, you know, have more problems than we do, but you know, we're not a small shelter by any means. And
no,
you know, our aim is really to give these dogs a better quality of life.
Yeah, and you do a fantastic job, Sally, under very difficult circumstances. All of you, all of the people I've met, you know, in your team, doing an absolute wonderful job. And that's basically our role in this, is to get all of you guys out there watching to help us. We need you to go to pump.fun and buy the rescue token, as every token helps to provide shelter, food and medical care, and will help dogs like Sandu, and will help the rescue shelter like Sally's, to give all these poor dogs the life that they deserve. Every dog out there deserves a second chance. And if it wasn't for people like Sally, they wouldn't have a second chance. And this has to continue, and that's why we need all of you out there to help us with this. So, Sally,
somebody said to me at the weekend, Chris, why? Sorry.
No, I was just going
to say, why don't you help a UK shelter? And I absolutely take that on board. But the thing is, the dogs in the UK aren't treated in the way that these dogs are. It's plain barbaric. And I know some dogs get euthanized in pounds now, but
Right.
they're euthanized humanely, and they certainly don't have to lead a life like this in most cases before they go to the pound. It's awful.
Yes, yeah, I do understand, and that's also why we want to focus on you, your shelter, and this particular one lucky guy, Sandu, who for everyone just joining us, Sandu was rescued from a kill shelter where they just kill these dogs in the most brutal way, and Sally's shelter took him on board and have given him the medication he needs, and he's one lucky dog, as I said, because he's going to have a new owner in the UK, and we're going to follow this whole journey of Sandu's together with Sally and her team. And Sally, you're going to be, you mentioned you're going to be out there I think in a week or so. So you're going to
Yes, a couple of weeks.
Yeah, you're going to be in the next stage of Sandu's journey.
Yes, yeah, we will be. On the, oh, goodness me, he will be having his second injections soon.
Okay.
Actually, it might be next week.
Which we'd like to
Oh,
follow.
no, he's starting his medication again. But when we get there, he will be coming towards the end of his medication journey.
All right.
But certainly, we're going to take the camera to film Sandu having his next lot of treatment. And then while he's resting afterwards, Julie and I will spend a lot of time with him when we're there, because he'll obviously be bored silly because he's going to be in a crate for 4 weeks, essentially.
Yes, of course.
And then after that, we'll slowly get him going again outside, and then he'll be able to come on transport before Christmas to Kitty in the UK. And we're going to follow that journey all the way. Transport are going to record his journey for us.
Fantastic.
And then we'll record him going to Kitty, his new mum, in the UK. And then we're going to follow him up when he's with Kitty.
Yes, that will be marvellous.
So that'll be really nice to do that.
So the next stage then of Sandu's journey really will be when you go out there, and we will take him to the vets, I think, to Melena's to have his vaccinations, and
to Andra. He goes to Andra, the other vet, for his heartworm treatment. Okay. And then after that, he'll go back to Melina, our regular vet, to get his passport and everything ready for his travel.
Oh yes, well that will be great. So we can see the passport, we can see everything. Marvelous.
Yes, yeah.
So that will be the next stage in Sandu's journey to the UK.
It will. I mean, he has no idea, bless him. He must wonder what on earth we're doing. Keep bringing him out and making him walk in the rain, bless him.
Yeah.
He doesn't like the rain, does he? Because the other day he was running around very waggy-tailed.
He was,
and he's not liking this at all.
Well, there's not many of us do like the rain, so
no.
I can sympathise.
You see, the dogs don't get wet very often because our shelter's covered in. Yes. So except when they're in the play area, which they wouldn't normally go into on a wet day, they don't really experience getting snowed on or rained on. He's not impressed.
No, I can imagine. Well, look, that's been marvellous, Sally. I think it's been great that everybody out there has been able to see Sandu, has been able to meet you and understand basically what your needs are, and the wonderful job that you're not only doing for the likes of Sandu, but for all of the other dogs. And for all of you just joining us, all of those of you just joining us, we're going to follow Sandu's journey from here in Romania to all the way back to the UK to his new owner. And if it hadn't have been for the likes of Sally, Sandu would not have had a second chance. And more to the point, we need to give more of these dogs a second chance, and that's where you all come in. So as we close this stream today, just take a moment, everyone, to look now at Sandu. He's still there. I don't know if you all managed to look into his eyes and see what a lovely dog he is. He
really is. All the dogs are lovely, but as he's especially gorgeous. He really is.
He is. He really does deserve a second chance. And it's so nice to know that this will be a happy ending for Sandu. So
Yes.
just remember,
yes.
everybody out there, that each one of these dogs, just like Sandu, has their own story, and yet they all deserve a second chance. So with your help, we can keep them safe, fed and cared for, and by supporting our Rescue Dog project, you're not just watching, you're going to be actually making a difference and helping dogs like Sandu. So all of you out there, again, if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe. It helps us reach more people who care about dogs just like you. And to make the biggest impact, please go to pump.fun, buy our rescue token, as every token helps the likes of Sandu and all of those other dogs. So together we can turn these hopes into homes for dogs. So I'd like to thank you all for being part of this journey. Our Rescue Dog project is designed to help every single dog, and we're going to be joining Sally and Sandu again for part 2 of Sandu's journey to the UK. So thank you again, Sally, for all of your time.
Oh, lovely boy.
And, yeah,
Thank you very much, Chris. Thank you so much.
and look at Sandu. Just remember, everyone,
Look at
he
him.
needs your help. So
Thank you, Chris.
so you take care, Sally. Thank you to
Yes,
Gabby
speak
and
again
Alex and
soon.
everyone.
Bye.
And,
Bye, Gabby.
yeah,
Bye, Alex.
and we'll see
Bye.
you again very
Bye.
soon. Thank you. Bye bye, everybody.